Hello and welcome to another video. You guys, for this video, I want to talk about Palantir, that is ticker symbol PLTR, and Robinhood, which is ticker symbol HOOD, which are both reporting earnings this week coming up. And so I wanted to talk about these stocks because Palantir, if you've been following along, if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I've been talking about Palantir since the very beginning of the year. Since January 2025, when I decided to start posting on YouTube, it's one of the very first stocks that I mentioned on my channel. And then Robinhood is one that I had on my watch list probably for the first 6 months of the year, and then finally decided to buy when there was a dip in the market. And I have seen amazing results with both of these stocks. So with them reporting earnings this week, it's also a really good indication for how they're doing. We get to see a little bit more into their financials. We also get to see how the market reacts as a whole, because what we've noticed is that when earnings reports come out, it's kind of like a domino effect. So there will be different stocks that also get affected by the stock that's reporting earnings if they're within the same industry. So for me personally, because Palantir right now also just announced a really big partnership with Nvidia, which is another stock that I'm invested in, that's ticker symbol NVDA. I'm also really curious to see how they report earnings and how it affects Nvidia as well. As of right now, Nvidia is sitting at around, I want to say $204, and Palantir is at around $204 as well. So both of these stocks are stocks that I've been talking about, like I mentioned, since the beginning of the year. I've mentioned them when they were under $100. So to see them both hit over $200 is already exciting. It's already amazing growth. But we're also just now seeing that there are more people that are getting aware, that are starting to invest, and there's this kind of momentum around Palantir and Nvidia, especially because they've been so heavily involved in the AI space. So artificial intelligence has been booming pretty much all year. Some people are calling it a bubble. However, I'm the type of person that if I see a bubble forming, I may partake into what's going on. And then if I see anything weird, if I see anything sketchy, then I will most likely be able to pull, hopefully before the burst. What everybody fears is an AI bubble and it's going to pop at some point. Personally, I don't think it's going to pop anytime soon, because we're just seeing kind of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to a lot of these stocks. And so when I'm looking at Palantir, for example, which is a stock that I've been investing in since it was around $20, and I'm seeing it now at $204, that is actually insane. Like, that is insane growth. And I think for someone, I always like to kind of back up and kind of like talk a little bit about my experience and my journey, because I always say I'm not here to give financial advice. I'm just simply here to share my journey, and you can do with this information whatever you would like. But I'm someone who just a couple of years ago had no idea what the stock market even was. I literally had zero knowledge about what the stock market was. I didn't know about a brokerage. I didn't know how you can invest. I didn't know the terminology. I didn't know buying and holding, and definitely didn't know that options contracts existed. And so now that I'm in my journey, and now that I've learned and I'm continuing to educate myself, I'm continuing to learn and be more financially literate. This is why I post these types of videos, because I'm like, dude, if I knew what an earnings report was, then I would probably pay more attention to when these reports come out, so that I can understand what's going on actually financially with the business, and understand if I should put more money into that company or not, right? Or if I see the financials and I'm like, okay, this actually doesn't look that good, can I actually take my money from that investment, maybe sell those shares, and then reinvest it in something that looks a little bit better or a little bit more aligned with what I'm looking for? And so that is mainly the reason why I like to post these types of videos and like to call out when there's earnings reports coming out, because I do understand that the more knowledge that you start putting into your mind and brain, and you start processing these things, the more better of a trader or better of an investor you're going to be. So even if you're just starting and you just randomly came across this video and you're like, what is this girl talking about, earnings report? I don't even know what these stocks are. What's Palantir? What's Nvidia? What's, it's okay. You're in the right place. We're going to learn together. We're going to take some time to really truly understand what it is that we're doing in the market. And I'm telling you that it's really not as hard as a lot of people make it seem. once you understand the basics and have a basic foundation for a lot of what this terminology and the jargon that they use, what it really is, then it actually becomes so easy and so doable for anyone. I'm also wearing my little Columbia necklace because I always say that I like to represent my roots, where I come from, my background, and this is something that I'm also doing for the culture. So I believe that every single person, especially if you're here in the United States and you come from a background where like your ancestors didn't have the opportunity to do this, it is even more important for you to take time and actually use the fact that you have the privilege to learn something like this. You have a laptop, you have a phone. You know, sometimes people ask me like what monitor should I use to start? The monitor literally does not matter. And I know that there's a lot of like people who post about trading and have these cool like monitors and the LED lights and all this. That stuff honestly does not matter. Whether you have that crazy cool looking setup or a literal basic monitor, you're still going to make the same amount of money. I'm telling you, because it's something that honestly, when I first came across trading, that's all I saw, and I was like, I can't do that. Like, look at this. Like, I can't do that. I don't know anything. I have all this money to like buy all these monitors and all of these things, and it's really not that difficult. I promise you it's not. You just have to take some time, learn the basics, learn the language, and then start little by little. I promise you that if you take the time to learn, it'll become one of the easiest things to do. Of course, there's risk associated with this. I'm not trying to downplay the fact that you can definitely lose money if you don't take it seriously, but I want to try to like take away this like weird like stigma around trading, that it's like, you know, you have to be of such caliber to do it. Like, no. I'm a little girl from Jersey. You know, I was born in the hood. My family was born in Barranquilla, Colombia. Like, I don't have the background of like these high profile Wall Street. No, like it's not that serious. Like, you could learn this as long as you take some time, you do the work. You definitely have to do the work. This is me on a Sunday night. I'm sitting here, I'm learning, I'm writing my stuff down, I'm preparing myself for the new week, but it is not that crazy. All right. Sorry, I went on a rant because sometimes when I talk to people and they're like, oh no, but I just can't do it because this and that, I'm like, it's really not that. It's like anybody can do this. Okay. So with that being said, I am excited for Palantir. I'm going to be listening into the earnings. I'm really hopeful that, you know, they'll have positive earnings and that the stock will potentially go up. I always also say that I'm someone who I don't like to trade too heavily into earnings, because although I can be very optimistic for Palantir, I'm not going to put all my money and then next thing you know, something comes out in earnings report that actually makes the stock goes down and then I lose a lot of money. But I do have a contract or two. I think I have 2 contracts right now for Palantir, and so if it goes my way, then hey, I'll make some money. But if it doesn't, then I only have 2 contracts. I'm not putting a bunch of my money into an earnings week. And then so that's Palantir. And then the second one that's also reporting earnings this week is Robinhood. That is ticker symbol HOOD. Now, this is another one that, like I mentioned, I've been talking about a lot this year, and it's one that I've seen some really great growth in. It is currently sitting at $149. This one has reached a little bit over $150 in the past, so there is a little bit of potential that if it reports really good earnings, that it could go up. And that's another one that I don't think I have any open contracts for Robinhood because it was a little bit shaky. These last 2 weeks, and so I just kind of like wanted to make sure I saw it recover, and it has. And so you never know, I might actually get a contract for earnings. But again, I'm more so interested to see what new levels are hit for this week for both Palantir and Robinhood, and then I'll trade off of that. So those are the two ones that I'm really going to be looking at. I've also been, I've talked about this in my last video, but I've also been watching CoreWeave, that's ticker symbol CRWV. I've also been watching Oklo, that's ticker symbol OKLO. And yeah, these are stocks that I honestly am just really excited to see what happens in Q4. Another stock that I do want to mention, just because it's one that I do see continuous growth in, I've talked about them a lot in my previous videos, is SoFi, that is ticker symbol SOFI, currently going for around $29. SoundHound AI, that is ticker symbol SOUN, currently going for I want to say around $17. And then BBAI, so that's Big Bear AI, and that one is currently sitting at around $6, almost $7 right now. So I just wanted to throw in a few bonus ones that I've been watching and adding to my portfolio. And yeah, I'm actually really excited for it to be Monday. I'm excited to see what this stock does, what Palantir does tomorrow, and then what Robinhood will do on Wednesday. And I will probably end up posting on Wednesday once, I'm able to see what these two stocks do, and then I will be on the lookout for the next week, which has some other really good earnings coming out. So yeah, again, if you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.